Good morning, everybody. Buenos dias. Welcome to Bilbao and to the 2023 ASCI's Annual Science Conference. My name is Bill Karp, and I'm the ASCI's president, and it's my privilege and pleasure to open this annual science conference here in Bilbao. This is the third ASC that I have attended in Spain, Vigo in 2004 and La Coruña in 2014. If there was ever any doubt, this confirms the fact that I am no longer an early career scientist. But Spain's history as an ASCI's member began much earlier, in 1924. So it's time for congratulations as we approach the end of their 100th year. Spain has hosted the annual science conferences or statutory meetings, has also hosted annual science conferences or statutory meetings in Madrid in 1963 and in Santander in 1987. But this is our first time in the Basque region. Spain has played such a large part in the success of ASCI's for almost a century. Their hospitality as ASC hosts is truly remarkable. Let me take a moment to recognize the Spanish and Basque organizations and individuals who've made this year's ASC possible. Our primary host is AZTI, the Basque Agency for Marine and Food Science. I would like to especially recognize Marina Santurtun, who will address us in a few minutes, as well as Merixtel Gonzalez, Irantzu Zubia, and everyone at AZTI who has worked so hard to make this week possible. I would like also to acknowledge the essential contributions of the Spanish national government and the Basque regional government, as well as the Biscay Regional Council. This morning we'll hear from Ainera Basurco, Deputy for Economic Stimulation at the Basque Regional Council, Isabel Artime, General Secretary of Fisheries at the Spanish Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food, and Bitor Oroz, Vice Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food Policy at the Basque Regional Ministry for Economic Development, Sustainability and Environment. And we will ask them to convey our deep appreciation to all of the staff involved for their support and participation. When one of our member countries offers to host an annual science conference, much of the burden and responsibility falls on the two national delegates. So we wish also to convey our thanks to the Spanish delegates, Pablo Aboenza and Paz San Pedro, as well as her predecessor, Carmen Fernandez. Within and beyond the ASCI Secretariat, many have worked very hard to make this event possible. Special thanks to Ina Breisemeister, who has and continues to play a key and essential role in the overall guidance of our General Secretary, Alan Haynie. Many other individuals must also be recognized, and Alan will follow up on this in a few minutes. Planning for the scientific content of our ASCs is the responsibility of SciComm, the ASCI's Science Committee, which is chaired by Jörn Schmidt. So it's important to recognize SciComm, as well as the theme session conveners and all the oral and poster presenters. A moment ago, I mentioned the Spanish delegates. Pablo Aboenza is our longest serving Spanish delegate, and as such initiated and coordinated the planning for this conference. Pablo is about to complete his 3-year term on the ASCI's Bureau or Executive Committee. Bureau has been called upon much more than usual during the last 3 years, as we've dealt with complex and unexpected challenges associated with the pandemic, the unexpected resignation of our General Secretary, and issues related to the war in Europe. In addition to Pablo, Karen Victorin from Sweden and Paul Connolly from Ireland complete their 3-year terms on Bureau this year. I'm deeply appreciative of their guidance, wisdom, and willingness to go above and beyond. This is no less true for the continuing Bureau members, Per Sandberg from Norway, Piotr Morganski from Poland, and First Vice President Carl O'Brien from the UK. I strongly encourage all of our delegates to consider submitting their names for election to Bureau at next month's meeting of the Council of Delegates. We strive for greater diversity and broader participation in Bureau, and we offer the opportunity to play a larger role in the governance of our organization. Of the outgoing Bureau members, Paul Connolly deserves special mention. Paul recently retired as director of the Irish Marine Institute. He's a long-standing Irish delegate and a former president of ASCI's, and has played a major role in the strategic evolution of ASCI's over the last 2 decades. When we met in Dublin last year, I spoke to you about the resilience of ASCI as an organization and the challenges we faced during the pandemic years. To be successful in a changing world, organizations such as ASCI must evolve and adapt. Our adaptation strategy is multidimensional. Term limits, such as the 3-year terms for Bureau members, are but one element of this strategy because it allows us to draw more broadly from the community of delegates seeking strategic guidance, from the community of delegates in seeking strategic guidance in governance. I regret that I do not have time to specify all of the changes that have occurred in ASCI over the last year, but I will mention a couple. Mark Dickey-Colas will soon complete his second and final term as the ACOM Advisory Committee Chair. Mark's played a leading role in the work of ASCI for many years. His energy, enthusiasm, creativity, and innovation have influenced and guided us in innumerable ways. During his years as ACOM Chair, he has worked tirelessly with ACOM, the broader network, the Secretariat, and the organizations we advise to bring essential change. As Mark steps down, the recruitment process for a new ACOM Chair is well underway, and we look forward to bringing a new individual on board in the near future. Our adaptation strategy is also clearly evident in the annual science conference. In particular, the ideas articulated by our keynote speakers and by the theme sessions, by our keynote speakers and by the theme session speakers and poster presenters, who all will contribute to the process of reinvigorating our science agenda and the development of new terms of reference for existing or new expert groups. You can contribute to this process, even if you're not a presenter, through questions and opportunities for discussion and networking during the meeting. Some of this evolution will be formal and some will be informal, through the opportunities you will have to meet with current and potential future colleagues throughout the conference, thereby sowing the seeds of future research partnerships. The drivers which influence our science priorities are diverse and include the science priorities of our member countries and expectations regarding future requests for advice. Yesterday, I attended a meeting of SciComm and listened to discussions about national science priorities and achievements, as well as the cross-cutting work of our expert groups, steering groups, and strategic initiatives. This was for me both impressive and a reminder of the incredible breadth, depth, and interconnectedness of our science, also of the talent, creativity, and commitment of the individuals and organizations involved. This is our network. Perhaps unsurprisingly, it seemed to me that almost all of the national priorities or major considerations for strategic initiatives or steering groups fit under two general headings. That is either climate change and/or ecosystem-based management. The work itself is enabled through our organizational structure, the secretariat and committees and expert groups, the tendrils of our network. To be successful, this process requires diversity, equity, and inclusion. And within that broad category, I include the recruitment and inclusion of early career scientists. We have emphasized this during the last few years and will continue to emphasize this through the Strategic Initiative for Early Career Scientists. And also implementation of our Gender and Equality Plan under the talented leadership of Ellen Johannesson. You'll hear more about this during the meeting, and I think it's a very important element of our ongoing strategy for change. Education, to help prepare early and established professionals for current and future challenges. We have also initiated a new strategic initiative on graduate education. Inter and cross-disciplinarity, which can already be seen but needs to be encouraged to a large extent through increasing diversity, equity, and inclusion, and education, and partnerships and collaborations. Our power and capacity are greatly enhanced through partnerships and collaborations. I would like to acknowledge in particular our partnership with Pisces. I'll mention a few of the science topics that were raised during yesterday's discussion because they are inherently important, but also because they illustrate the interconnectedness and interdependence of our work, emerging societal needs, and opportunities for ASCI. Offshore renewables, this is a coming challenge, in fact it's already here, and an incredible opportunity. And it fits into this broader category of marine spatial planning. Sustainable aquaculture, the integration of economics and social science, and more broadly, the human dimension. Again, we've identified and emphasized this area through establishment of a strategic initiative. And observation, data, and information management. Coming back to climate change, our joint strategic initiative with Pisces on climate change impacts on marine ecosystems is illustrative of our ongoing focus and prioritization in this area of scientific research. Almost everything we do informs climate change or climate-aware decision-making. And it's not our job to advocate, but it is our job to make sure that decision-makers are aware and informed of our science. We are leaders in all of these areas and continue to build more capacity. We need your help and the help of your fellow scientists to advance our leadership. I encourage each of you to participate in our work and advocate for ICES. And I ask each of you to be mindful of our goals for addressing diversity, equity, and inclusion, and do everything you can to increase representation of women at all levels in your own institutions and in ICES. Finally, early career scientists at this meeting can be identified from their name tags, so introduce yourselves and open up new lines of communication and encouragement. ICES is stronger and more relevant than ever, thanks to all of you and our much, much broader network that you represent. Enjoy this conference and join me in welcoming Marina Santurtun, the director of AZTI, as we move forward with the opening ceremony. Thank you.
Ongi etorri, bienvenidas y bienvenidos. Welcome to the ASC 2023, to Bilbao, to the Basque Country, and welcome to AZTI. We are delighted to extend a warm welcome to all distinguished guests, representatives, visitors, participants, accompanying persons, organizers, sponsors, and volunteers. It is a great honor to have been chosen as the host for this prestigious event. AZTI's unwavering commitment to advance in marine science and our dedication to sustainable ocean management has positioned us as a leading institution in the field. Also, the Basque region, steeped in history and tradition, shares a profound connection with the sea, which has played a key role in shaping our identity. We like to think that AZTI stands as a beacon of innovation and sustainability in marine and food research. Founded in 1981, AZTI has evolved from its roots in the Basque fishing industry to become a global leader in marine and food research. Basque institutions have continually backed research and development in the marine and food fields, supporting the development and growth of AZTI. We take pride of our team of approximately 290 dedicated individuals, including scientists, researchers, technicians, samplers, observers, administrative staff, and different other professionals. Together, we are committed to safeguarding our oceans and shaping a sustainable food future. Our mission is to advance in knowledge, innovation, and sustainable practices in marine and food science, ensuring the well-being of current and future generations. Our vision is a world where ocean flourish and food systems are resilient, healthy, and equitable. AZTI expertise includes marine ecology, from the smallest microorganisms to the largest marine mammals. Our research in this area contributes to our understanding of the integrated balance of life in the oceans. Fisheries and aquaculture, with a deep-rooted history in the Basque fishing industry, we are at the forefront of fisheries research. Marine technology, we leverage cutting-edge technologies to monitor and study the ocean environment. And food, safety, quality, nutrition, and health, ensuring that food from sea to table is safe, nutritious, and produced with integrity. For nearly 30 years, AZTI actively participates in the International Council for the Exploration of the Sea, contributing to international efforts in marine science and management. Our experts engage in working groups, committees, and leadership roles, fostering collaboration and advancing our collective understanding of marine ecosystems. In summary, for AZTI, the sea is not just a resource, it is the lifeblood of our community. As for the Basque region, it has nurtured our traditions, inspired our cuisine, and sustained our livelihoods. You are all very welcome to join us on this annual scientific conference for exploring the sea, including the maritime heritage, the vital human relationship with the ocean, and the pioneer work conducted around the world of marine science. We wish you a fruitful conference and hope you have a delightful time exploring the city of Bilbao and the stunning surroundings of the Basque Country. May your stay be filled with enriching experiences, warm encounters, and a deeper understanding of the profound bond between the Basque people and the sea. Welcome to ASC, welcome to Bilbao, and welcome to AZTI, where science and tradition connect. And now, let me introduce you to Ainara Basurco from the Biscay Regional Council.
William Karp jauna, ICESeko presidentea, Isabel Artime anderea, Espainiar Gobernuko nekazaritza arrantza eta elikagaitako idazkari nagusia, Bitxorroroz jauna, Eusko Jaurlaritzako nekazaritza arrantza eta elikagaien politiketako sailburu ordea, Marina Santurtun, AZTIko arduraduna, eta hemen zaudeten guztioi egunon. Ohore handia da niretzat Bizkaiko Foru Aldundiaren izenean Bilbo eta Bizkaira ongi etorria ematea International Council for the Exploration of the Sea erakundearen urteko hitzaldi honetan. Eta nire eskerrik beroena eman nahi diet antolatzaileei eta AZTIri bereziki. Bizkaian hain garrantzi handiko ekitaldia egitea lortzeagatik. Ongi etorri. This is how we welcome in Basque, in Euskera, in our language. It is a great honor for me, on behalf of the government of Bizkaia, to welcome you to Bilbao and Bizkaia for this annual conference of the International Council for the Exploration of the Sea. And I want to convey my deepest gratitude to the organization and to AZTI for making it possible for Bizkaia to host an event of this magnitude today, with more than 700 scientists and research leaders. Welcome. Feel at home here, please. We are known as the region that gives the name to the Bay of Biscay, a territory located in the center of the so-called Atlantic Arc. The sea is part of our identity, of our culture. Vizcaya has historically been linked to the sea, which has been and remains a source of wealth and development. First, with fishing activity. Our fishing ports were bursting with activity even before the Industrial Revolution. And then came the Industrial Revolution, and with it, the rise of the shipbuilding industry. For many years, the shipbuilding industry was synonymous with growth and prosperity. In our shipyards and their auxiliary industry, the port of Bilbao and all the industrial activity and services that have arisen around it were the driving forces of our region. Recalling the past can invite nostalgia, but we are here to share knowledge and build a better future. Vizcaya is a territory characterized by its capacity for transformation and is already sailing into the waters of the future. Today, Vizcaya remains a region with high capabilities and great potential in a wide range of activities and sectors of the so-called blue economy. Today, Vizcaya continues to strongly commit to being a benchmark in technology and innovation related to sustainable marine industries. Thus, we are working diligently in areas such as the sustainability of more traditional sea activities, or energy efficiency and green propulsion, to name a few. I would like to highlight two examples of these initiatives that we are undertaking with which the Basque institutions aim to lead efforts in favor of a sustainability use of the oceans and their resources. The first is Bermeo World Tuna Capital, a collaborative initiative between public institutions and the private sector in which the promoter of this Congress, AZTI, also plays a significant role. Its goal is to promote globally the sustainable management of tuna as a natural resource based on scientific knowledge and the leadership of best practices. Among the achievements of these initiatives, I would like to highlight the signing of the Alliance of the World Tuna Cities on May 3rd in the fishing town of Bermeo by the first 7 cities in the world. An alliance that is committed to sustainability aligned with SDG 14, Life Below Water, which will undoubtedly be joined by new cities around the world for which tuna is a fundamental part of their economy, their social process, and their future. The second relates to one of the major challenges we face here in the Basque Country to maintain fishing in our ports, generational turnover. We are promoting a new training model through an innovative center model that seeks to improve the competitiveness of the sector and open a new horizon of opportunities for the entire value chain of the maritime and fishing sector. All of this through the union of talent, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Furthermore, in terms of energy, I would like to emphasize the commitment to ocean energies through the test zone called BIMED, led by the Basque government, limited to navigation off the coast of Armintza, established in 2015. A leading infrastructure at the European level in terms of marine energy, which has achieved an expansion of the surface from an R&D perspective, technological development, which is very important. A nivel global enfrentamos retos significativos en favor del uso sostenible de los océanos. La sobrepesca, la contaminación marina y el cambio climático amenazan la salud de nuestros mares. Sin embargo, también vemos tendencias alentadoras. La creación de áreas marinas protegidas, la innovación en tecnologías limpias y la promoción de la economía azul sostenible son pasos en la dirección correcta. Quiero enfatizar la importancia de promover la innovación y la colaboración en este ámbito. La ciencia, la tecnología y la industria deben ir de la mano para garantizar un uso sostenible de nuestros océanos. Y eventos como este, donde se reúnen mentes brillantes de todo el mundo, son esenciales para forjar alianzas y avanzar juntos hacia un futuro más próspero y sostenible. Para finalizar, quiero agradecer a cada uno de ustedes por su compromiso y dedicación en la exploración y conservación de nuestros mares. Vizcaya, Euskadi, está orgullosa de ser anfitriona de esta conferencia y de ser parte activa en la construcción de un futuro más sostenible. Ongi etorriak izan zaiteztela guztiok. Mila esker eta emankorra izan dadila.
And now, Isabel Artime from the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food will give us some words.
Egunon, buenos días, good morning to everybody. Mr. President of the International Council for Exploration of the Sea, Viceconsejero de Agricultura, Pesca y Política Alimentaria del Gobierno Vasco, señora diputada foral de Promoción Económica de la Diputación Foral de Vizcaya, representantes de la Fundación ASTI, entidad huésped de esta conferencia internacional, director y representantes del Instituto Español de Oceanografía, miembros del Consejo Internacional para la Exploración del Mar, señores y señoras. First of all, I would like to welcome you to Bilbao, welcome you to Spain, this exciting city that is hosted this international Congress today. And first of all, I would like also to convey on behalf of the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food, the congratulations to the organization of this annual conference once again. This celebration that starts today in Bilbao is very adequate to do it in this city because the País Vasco and Bilbao especially has a very strong relationship with the sea. The history of the sea and the fisheries in the Basque Country is very well known in Spain, and the previous speech has also related of that. So this is not only because this conference is taking place in Spain, it's also because this is a very important moment for our country today. And this is a very special moment because you know that Spain is now the presidency of the Council of the European Union for this semester, from the 1st of July to the end of the year. A semester with enormous challenges ahead of us, where it has to be the negotiations of the different regional organizations of fisheries, and also where the ministers of the Council of the European Union has to establish and to set the possibilities for fishing the next year. You know that Spain is enormous, has an enormous presence in the fisheries internationally and also within the European Union. You know, we have more than 8,000 kilometers of seashore. We have also, we are the first fleet in the European Union with 8,657 vessels. Spain also represents an important part of the employment of the European Union in terms of fisheries. We have also, Spain is also the first country in terms of captures of fisheries, with more than 800,000 tons. Is also the first country within the European Union in terms of the production of aquaculture, with more than 300,000 of tons. Is also the first in volume of business in terms of transformation of the fisheries, with more than 7,000 million of euros and 600 of companies doing business in fisheries, and also is the second one after Portugal in the consumption of fisheries. So this dimension put Spain in the center of the fisheries in the European Union, but also in the international waters, because we can be very proud of us about our really sustainability in terms of the fisheries, in terms of how we do these fisheries. And at this point, I would like to recognize the scientific work. Without any kind of doubt, this scientific work is the key, is the base of our management of the fisheries. I would like to thank all the efforts that the scientific community do every day, and especially I would like to recognize the work of the International Council for Exploration of the Sea, that since 1902 is promoting and coordinating the knowledge of the resources of the sea. So this is so important for the fisheries community. So the fishing sector and the aquaculture sector is a strategic sector in terms of economic, and is strategic because it guarantees the food for the people. So what we say in the European Union, the food sovereignty is something that we can say the fisheries is contributing to that. So by other hand, the fishing sector is a vulnerable sector. It's so vulnerable for the international markets, is vulnerable because of the prices, is vulnerable also because of the climate change. So it's a vulnerable economic sector because of different reasons. We are also, this is also a sector that is object of a very extensive regulation, not only regulation at different levels, regulation by the international community, the international organizations, regulated by the European Union, regulated at national level, regulated as well at a regional level. So this is also one of the reasons because of we have to put more attention, even though in the connection with the scientific knowledge, to be a regulation in the way of to pretend a goal of sustainable management, and also to be coherent in all the different statements of the regulation. So the commitment of the government of Spain with the research and with the scientific research in terms of fisheries, we can find it in the fact that just 2-3 months ago, the government, Spain passed a law with the name of Sustainable Fisheries and Fisheries Scientific Investigation. This is in this law where both things, the fisheries, the management, and also the innovation and the research work together with the same goal, with the goal to have a sustainable economic sector. So we have a lot of challenges ahead of us, challenges like the interactions of different activities and different impacts on the sea, different impacts on the fisheries. We have to be able to reach an ecosystem approach from a scientific perspective, and we have also to see how to convey, how to manage all the different uses of the sea to set a good and a better spatial planification of these activities in the sea. So I know that there are also many things that from this General Secretariat of Fisheries we present to this organization, and there are different things that you know, and you are very aware that we are very concerned, that for instance the way that we are going to manage the vulnerable marine ecosystems, or to find mathematical modeling to reach a very good assessment for the fisheries, or also to how to incorporate social and economic data within the assessment of the fisheries. So everything is with the perspective of the objectivity of the scientists, and we are very aware that the role of these scientists is to present different options, different scenarios to the managers with the risk associated with that, so the administration, the managers, can also choose the better decisions for the sustainability. So just to end, I would like to thanks again to everybody for being here in Bilbao, and for being here in Spain, and I would like to encourage you to give openness to the research, to these kinds of different challenges, and also to encourage to the young people to join this scientific work. Only together we can find or we can address so difficult and challenging and passionate work that we have ahead of us. Thank you to everybody.
Okay, and finally, we got Víctor Oroz, Ministry for Economic Development, Sustainability and Environment from the Basque Country, who's going to give us some words.
Egun on guztioi eta ongi etorri Euskadira eta Bilbora nola ez, William Karp jauna, ICESeko presidentea, Ainara Basurko alduna, Isabel Artime zuzendaria, Rogelio Pozo, AZTIko zuzendaria eta Marina Santurtun, eskerrik asko egin dezuen lanagatik eta antolatzeagatik. I'm deeply honored to stand before you today as we gather for this prestigious international conference organized by AZTI with the economic support of the government of the Basque Country, of course with the Spanish government and the Vizcaya Council too. This event, which has drawn together over 700 scientists from 26 different countries, along with leaders from renowned marine research institutes and policymakers, primarily from Europe and North America, is a testament to our shared commitment to advancing our understanding of the ocean and harnessing its potential for sustainable development in the context of the blue economy. Our world is intrinsically connected to the health and well-being of the ocean. It is not just a vast expanse of water, it is the heart of our planet, regulating climate, supporting biodiversity, and providing sustenance from billions. Therefore, it is incumbent upon us, as scientists and decision makers, to focus our collective efforts on ensuring the responsible and sustainable of this invaluable resource. The Basque government has always been committed to scientific knowledge to make informed decisions in the sustainable management of natural resources. Our commitment has been, is, and will be unwavering since we must guarantee a future sustainable economic development for generations to come. The challenges we face are important, great challenges that require a great effort and collaboration between institutions, science, and ocean users. During this symposium, we hope that ideas and solutions to some of these major challenges will be provided. One, economic science, understanding the complex interplay of marine ecosystem and the delicate balance of life within them is fundamental to our effort to protect and nurture these environments. Second, the human impact. We must acknowledge the profound impact of human activities on the ocean and seek solutions to mitigate these effects, from reducing pollution to addressing overfishing. The third, observation and exploration. Leveraging cutting-edge technology and innovative approach to explore and monitor the ocean is essential to gather the data needed for informed decision-making. Emerging techniques and technologies, the rapid evolution of scientific tools presents us with exciting opportunities to unlock the mysteries of the deep, from autonomous underwater vehicles to advanced remote sensing. The marine food production, we must explore sustainable methods of marine food production to feed a growing global population. The sixth, conservation and management. Striking a balance between conservation and economic development is a challenge we face. Robust science can guide us in managing marine resources wisely. And the ocean and the society, we must remember that our work doesn't solely impact the environment. It affects people. We must consider the social dimension of our decision and ensure that they are equitable and just. Throughout this conference, we have the opportunity to exchange knowledge, share research findings, and forge collaboration that will drive progress in these crucial areas. It is not enough simply understand the problems. We must also commit to implementing evidence-based solutions. I would like to emphasize that the work we do here has far-reaching consequences. It will shape the future of our oceans and, in turn, the future of our planet. Let us approach this conference with empathy for the challenges we face, and let us remain steadfast in our dedication to providing solutions that are firmly rooted in scientific knowledge and that pave the way for a sustainable and prosperous blue economy. Thank you, and I wish you all a productive and inspiring conference ahead. Enjoy the conference and enjoy the Basque Country. Disfrutatu Euskadiz, hemen zuen lagunak hemen dituzue, bezarkada handi bat, eta oso egun aprobetxableak izan daitezela. Eskerrik asko. Thank you very much.
Okay, and now finally, Alan Haynie is going to explain us some housekeeping issues.
Thank you all very much. It's really wonderful to be here, and I want to, on behalf of ICES, extend a warm welcome to everyone. Last year at the annual science conference in Dublin, I asked you all to be scientific heroes, and many of you did. You had great years and remarkable successes. But today I want to talk about a different type of heroism and express ICES' endless gratitude for the incredible generosity displayed behind the scenes by members of the network and the Secretariat. And I want to echo President Karp's words and offer a special thank you to Spain. And thank you for all of the warm welcomes and kind words that all of you have offered. We had to plan the annual science conference this year remarkably quickly, and a large group of people at AZTI and Spain and throughout the network rallied to make this happen. And we have the great privilege of having this amazing event that's a remarkable action for many, many people. Thanks to outgoing Spanish Council Delegate Carmen Fernandez for her role as Council Delegate and her many incredible contributions to the network. I also want to extend a warm welcome to new Spanish Delegate Paz and Pedro. Thank you to all of our IC's Council and Bureau members for the leadership and support that makes our work possible. Special thanks to you, Bill, for your tireless dedication and support as President, and to Carl, Pablo, Per, Karen, Paul, and Piotr for all that you do on Bureau to make ICs great. In my first year as General Secretary, so many people have been willing to share their wisdom and advice on how to strengthen ICs. I am endlessly indebted to you all. I also want to thank Mark Dickey-Colas for his role as ACOM Chair and previously at the IC's Secretariat. Mark is leaving ICs in November, but his legacy will live on. Mark has creatively worked to promote and protect the excellence, diversity, and independence of the Advisory Committee and prepared us to address our future challenges and deliver science and advice for ecosystem-based management. I also want to thank Science Committee Chair Jorn Schmidt, who has just begun his second 3-year term and is doing a fantastic job in leading the IC Science Committee. It would take me all day to thank our steering group, strategic initiative, and expert group chairs. To all of our current and outgoing chairs, we recognize the incredible work that you do. Thank you. In general, I can't say enough about the people I have the privilege of working with at the IC Secretariat. It's a remarkable community of dedicated people in all of our departments. From finance and administration to data and IT, from communications to HR, from science to advice, I see the same sense of pride and commitment to our mission. You have years of specialized experience that is invaluable to ICs and makes our work possible. Thank you for all that you do every day. Welcome to our new staff members, including the new head of science, Dr. Joanne Jo Foden. Special thanks to Ina Briestemeister, who took over for our colleague Anna, who's on parental leave, and has done an amazing job organizing this annual science conference. Thanks to everyone at the Secretariat who has worked tirelessly to make this week happen. Looking forward, the need for IC's work is greater than ever. Since our founding in 1902, international and interdisciplinary work has been central to ICs, as many of the speakers already have mentioned. A core strength of ICs is our dynamism and flexibility to adapt to address new challenges. The challenges we face today, from biodiversity to climate change, from food security to offshore renewable energy, require exactly this type of dynamic, international, and cross-disciplinary collaboration. We all continue our focus to fulfill our vision of a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive ICs. In your bag that you received with registration, there's a card here to raise your voice. If you have any issues at all, contact all of us, any of us, reach out. But there is also an anonymous reporting tool available for the first time. So thanks to Ellen Johansson from the Secretariat for supporting this initiative, and please use this if you have any issues. I'm extremely pleased that SciComm has chosen to create the Human Dimension Steering Group, and I want to give a warm welcome to new chair Natalie Steins. The creation of Hoodie SG places social science and humanities on par with all of the core disciplines of our organization. We have a great IC's community of experts who are doing the interdisciplinary science and laying the foundation for the interdisciplinary advice we need. Thanks to so many of you in our community who are working hard to integrate and transcend disciplines in our work. In this last year, a message I've heard frequently is the need to make all aspects of ICs more understandable. Simpler advice, more transparent processes. We have several efforts, including the Stakeholder Engagement Initiative, that are dedicated to this purpose. This will be a continued focus in the Secretariat, the committees, and the network this year. Please let me and all of the IC's leaders know how we can do this better. Finally, I want to say that this week, like every annual science conference, is the opportunity of a lifetime. Make this the best conference ever. The scene has been set for us in this incredible environment, and now it's up to us. From the paper, forget the paper that you left behind, have another or a nicer glass of wine. Be kind and generous to yourselves as well as to one another. Now I want you to quickly take just a moment and introduce yourself to the person next to you, or reintroduce as the case may be. So please say hello to the person next to you. This is it. All right, you have 4 days, 5 days, 6 days to continue your conversations. So this is exactly the kind of connection that this is all about. So I really encourage you to reach out to the people here who you think are the most interesting. Take chances, say hello, enjoy and celebrate the incredible family that we have here at ICs. Which brings me to my practical responsibilities. First of all, is the Whova app, which many of you are actively using, but it is the way that you can connect, share information about yourself. There are little profiles that many of you have introduced, biographies, and then the agenda is available. Someone who described themselves as very, very poor at understanding technology, said it's really easy. So if you haven't used it yet, really encourage you to reach out. You can use this QR code, or you can get to this from the conference website. Again, want to welcome early career scientists, and this is last year at the annual science conference. Their participation was really an incredible addition of the energy that SEEKS, the strategic initiative for the integration of early career scientists, brings. You can identify them. This is the new logo of SEEKS, and so when you see people with this on their lanyards, that's what it indicates, and please welcome and reach out to them, and thank you all for being here. The future of ICs is in your hands. And last, the conference dinner awaits you, and as always, this will be a fantastic and special occasion. So there's still some tickets available, or there were not long ago, so I encourage you to reach out. So this is Wednesday night, and really excited and thankful for this event. And with that, I would now like to introduce Carl O'Brien, who will present the Outstanding Achievement Award, returning to our theme of heroes. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Alan. Welcome to everyone who's in the room in Bilbao and those of you that are online. It's my privilege as chair of the awards committee to announce and present the recipient of this year's award. The presentation is in 3 parts. There's a PowerPoint, as we traditionally used. There's also a very nice video, which will be presented afterwards. And then following the video, I'll ask the recipient to come up and receive the award. So, this is the IC's Outstanding Achievement Award for 2023. The award recognises the contribution to ICs. It's sustained outstanding performance in contributing to science, demonstrating leadership skills, the commitment to helping to advance ICs as a dynamic international institution, and also enriching our community. And it also reflects achievements in science, management, policy, and mentoring. And it can be all of those, or it can be a selection of them. It's my pleasure to announce that this year's recipient is Ellen Kenchington. Clearly a well-deserving winner by the sound. So just a few words. So looking at the nomination that the awards committee received, Ellen is obviously a Canadian member of a number of IC's expert groups, as a number of us are. She's chaired many IC's groups. IC's is often seen within its community of having scientists and having advisors. Ellen's one of those that's actually been involved in developing science and making sure that that science feeds into advice. And one of the areas that's really important is contributions to OSPAR. That's really good for her. She's also represented ICES, the interactions that ICES has with other groups. So with IUCN, she's also been a representation on the Food and Agriculture Organization and the Intergovernmental Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services. In terms of working groups, this is just a selection. I apologize for the acronyms. ICES has a habit of coming up with rather peculiar acronyms, and I've tried to explain what those working shops or groups are. So, testing OECM practices, looking at the European Union's regulatory areas for vulnerable marine ecosystems, reviewing and advising on EBSA proposed areas, application of genetics to fisheries and mariculture, and also deep water ecology, which I know she's still very active in. The science that she has been involved in has also fed into the work of ACOM, the advisory committee. So this is just a selection of some of the areas where she has been involved in drafting advice with ACOM before ACOM approves its advice. So climate change, closed areas, biological effects, ecosystem effects. I can see her smiling, so it's obviously true. Wet renewables. Sand eels surprised me. I didn't think she got involved in sand eel issues and fisheries, but obviously anything and everything. Dogger Bank and the data collection framework. As you'd expect of any respectable marine scientist, she's also had a wealth of experience actually out in the field. I obviously recognize the offshore regions of Canada and the work that she did. I hadn't realized how much work she'd done around the world, and the committee hadn't realized that either. And it's interesting to see that she's also worked in the UK off of Shetland Islands, which is not necessarily a nice place to work. Her contributions to science and advice. She's a productive and impactful scientist. She's published more than 170 published scientific articles. She's got nearly 7,000 citations. And for those of you that keep up with Google H indices, it's 44, which is pretty impressive. She's an accomplished and international authority in the fields of benthic ecology and genomics. And her science has led to 50 areas being closed to protect seamounts, corals, and sponges from the effects of bottom trawling fish or bottom contact fishing. She continues to play a key role. ICES unfairly is often seen as a fishing organisation. It's said ICES is fish. That isn't the case. And the work that Ellen does around biodiversity and conservation clearly shows that ICES is more than just fish. So this is a really important area of work. What do her colleagues say? The middle one, I'll start with reading her 70-page CV, and it really is 70 pages. There's no waffle. It's full of great science, grants that she's won, research awards. It really deserves 70 pages. It's difficult to see how you would cut it down. So she's made many contributions. I think she says in the video when you see it that it's the impact of her own work that's really important. It's not just doing science for science sake, it's how is that used. And one of her nominators said, I've been impressed with her knowledge of Canadian and ICES interactions and her level of commitment to the Science Committee and the ICES network. Another one said, to have a kind leader makes working in a team a joy rather than a job. And I think that reflects Ellen's way of working. Ellen is a role model, the kind of researcher, colleague and mentor we should all strive to be. And it's clear that Ellen is not only a scientific force at the top of her field, she's also a kind and supportive colleague, mentor, who makes times for others when we all know how extremely full her schedule must be, which I think is true of a lot of us. So, congratulations to Ellen. Thanks from the ICES community. That's the presentation. We now have a short video before I'll invite Ellen to come up and receive her award.
My name is Ellen Kenchington, and I'm a research scientist with the Department of Fisheries and Oceans at the Bedford Institute of Oceanography, based in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, Canada. I've always loved the water. I like everything about it. I like being in it, on it, around it. And even though I grew up on the Great Lakes in Ontario, I had the fortunate experience to spend a few summers combing the beaches of Northumberland Strait here in Nova Scotia and exploring the rock pools. And that just created a passion to understand more about the marine life and the ocean they live in. I think that it's not so much the number of papers that I've published, but how they've been used. And for me, the ones that really stand out are the ones that have made a difference. And they are the ones where managers or stakeholders have taken up my results and used them to make decisions on conservation, management, and so on. And so, amongst those papers, the ones that I enjoyed the most were ones where we had teams that brought together different experts with different backgrounds to tackle really difficult questions. And those kind of multidisciplinary research teams, whether they were here at the Institute, at BIO, or broader. I first became involved with ICES, like most scientists, through participation in the expert groups. And at the time, I was working a lot in genetics and the ecosystem effects of fishing, so those were the two groups I joined. And they gave me an opportunity to establish some research networks, which I didn't have before, where I feel that the bigger leap was moving from participation in the expert groups and the workshops into taking on a role as a national member for the science committee. And there the responsibilities are a bit different because I wasn't really just representing my own views. I then had to make sure that what I presented to SciComm was representative of all of my colleagues back home in Canada. ICES has a very important role to play in today's world. I think that the questions that we're facing today are happening on a basin scale, and ICES brings together scientists from both Europe and North America to tackle those questions and to learn from one another on different approaches to dealing with climate change, ocean acidification, oxygen depletion zone, all these things that are affecting marine life.
Can you come up for your award?
Well, thank you very much, Carl, and the awards committee for selecting me. It's such a great honor and totally unexpected. I really feel humbled by this award. And I'd like to thank my nominator, Sarah Bailey, my colleague back in Canada, who put together the nomination package and collected all of the information that was needed for the awards committee to look at the application. And I'd like to thank especially the people that took the time to write some letters of support. Joanna Xavier, Javier Murillo, Paul Snellgrove, Murray Roberts, Cover Arias, David Johnson, Lawrence de Clapel, Andy Davis, and Aaron McPherson. So thank you very much, because I know that you're all busy, and to take the time to think of me in this way is really humbling. I think you've heard enough of me for this morning, but I do feel that this is all backwards, and it's me who should be thanking ICES, because I feel that ICES has been such a strong, positive force in my career, and I really wish I were an early career scientist, because I'd do it again in a heartbeat. So thank you very much.
In the best traditions of ICES, you also get a goodie bag, because it's grown so much. You need a rucksack.
Oh, thank you so
Don't
much.
forget your award. Thank you.
Thanks.
And Ellen will be around all week anyway. So if you want to ask her any questions or have a chat, then please stop and talk to her.
Thank you.
But congratulations, Ellen.
Thank you.
Jeppa, ajamaan, alisa siellä. Au, ai, 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 ai.